What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Mr. Fix-It channel. On this episode, I'm going to find out if this Scrambler engine runs. Stay tuned.
I was sitting out there in the shed one evening, not doing too much of nothing, just kind of staring at the wall. And
I went ahead and yanked the engine out of the frame. Since I already had it tore down this far anyway, it was only a couple extra things. I need to clean that gasket surface up, and more importantly, there's debris down in here I need to clean out. Make sure I get all this. There's goo in there. I'm probably gonna clean this out with like diesel fuel or something, kerosene maybe. There's a drain plug on the bottom. I can just rinse this out and let it flow out the bottom, whatever. Hold it upside down, whatever I gotta do. I want to clean up the outside of the case a little bit, and I want to change the balance shaft oil. On top of that, this is what the oil injection pump looks like. I need to pull this apart, try to clean this out, make sure this thing works. I'm missing the cover to this. So this is a metric stud, and that is an imperial nut threaded onto this, and you can't get this out of here. And not only did they jam that nut down on there, they also looks like they peened it over with a hammer, so you cannot back this nut back off of there. So I gotta cut this stud off. I gotta waste this stud. It's probably wasted anyway because it's. But yeah, whoever did this, they're a special kind of person. Don't do this. This was glued on. This was glued on. That was glued on. Just stop it. Get some help. So I just want to clean some stuff up and make sure this thing's good to go before I slap this on. I got this all prepped, honed. There's a few little blemishes in here. It's not terrible. Can't feel it with my finger or anything, so that's going to clean up. I had another piston, but my issue is this piston's oversized and it won't fit in the standard bore. I'm not going to bore this out. I don't have another good piston. This is the piston that's in it, obviously. There's some scoring on here, but I think I'm just going to try to smooth this out a little bit and just run this piston. Let's just see, because if it's got bottom end trouble that I don't know about yet, and I won't know until I start it up, I mean, I'm going to have to tear it all back down anyway. That'd be a good time to order a piston. Just trying to make this thing run, see what I got. You know what I mean? Let's not spend the money if we ain't got to. Alright, no coolant in the balance shaft oil. So that means the water pump should still be sealed up. That's a good sign. Alright, I got the engine mostly cleaned up here. It's looking a lot better now. I had to get some oil in these bearings. Got all the crankcase cleaned out. Need to address the oil pump here. I may pull this apart and get this all cleaned up, see if this still works. I'm really debating on just buying a new piston. I really don't want to spend that money on this quad right now. You can see there's some scoring. It's not real bad, but it's pretty bad. I cleaned this up. I kind of buffed this, took down any high spots. Now I'm probably going to go ahead and put it back together with this piston. I wouldn't recommend doing that, but pretty sure it's going to run with this. So I'm going to go ahead and put this piston back in. I don't have another new head gasket. I'm going to attempt to reuse an old head gasket. I'm going to put some copper spray seal on this. So hopefully seal that up. I got to finish cleaning up the head. Don't do what I do, but that's what I'm doing. Just trying to get this thing running as cheap as possible. I don't think that's going to be an issue. And get this engine back together. I still need to refill this fluid. So let's just see if it'll run like that. I do have a new base gasket. I got the new intake gaskets. I just don't have a new head gasket or a new piston. So I'm going to put it back together like that, and we'll just see how well it runs. Alright, I want to get this oil injection pump off of here. Went ahead and broke the screws loose. See if I can make this thing work again. I'm not sure. It's supposed to spring back. Looks like the spring is broke. I don't know if I can fix this thing or not. This one's a little different from the 94 400, as in this screw's on the inside of the box, whereas the other one, it's on the outside of this box. Need a little persuasion here. There we go. It looks like someone deactivated this years ago and left this cover off and wrote it like that. And this got all the mud and splash in here. Rotted this thing out. Just gotta dig the crud out of these screws. If I can't get this working, then just have to pre-mix the oil and the gas. It's got a clamp on it there, but the clamp's rusted and broke off. I need to try to get that nut off of there. I don't know if that's going to be possible. I'm afraid to apply any heat because I'm sure there's a rubber sealant behind that. And this thing might be hopeless. Alright, got those two screws loose. So we can get these two screws loose now. Looks like coolant pouring out of there. Did someone try to... I don't know. I don't know. Hopefully that's just water, not someone trying to hook coolant up to it. Oh, that one came loose. This is going to be the hard one to get loose here. Give it a little shock with this hammer. Oh, I got it. Got it loose. Alright, let's take this thing apart. Yeah. Okay, that little button there is spring loaded and it just fell out. So we got the bleeder screw out. Yeah, that come right loose. This has had water in it. There's a roll pin there. Spray some brake clean in here because it's gooey in there. I don't see any rust inside there, that's a good sign. Although I'm not seeing how to get this shaft out. I need to get this wheel off here so I can try and replace that spring. If I do that, this thing may actually work because it looks fine on the inside. Looks like this seal holds this shaft in. So I'm guessing if I pull hard enough on this, that shaft might come out. This part in here moves in and out. That looks like that's how it pumps. Looks like there's a cam on this shaft. So the more throttle you give it, the more it pushes that cam over, the more it forces against this part here, this gear inside there, and this probably loads it so it'll go in and out. And that in and out motion is probably what pumps the oil. So you got the oil coming in, probably goes inside there. This shaft rotates. This pulses in and out against this spring, pumps the oil up and out of this line. So I'm not quite sure how it comes apart. That seems to be coming out just by prying on it. Well, it moved anyway. I don't want to come all the way out. I'm afraid to force it. I don't want to break it. Okay, yeah, there it came out. So that's just a press fit in there. Alright, maybe I can change that spring without taking that nut off. Or at least now, yeah, there's a rubber seal on that. So you wouldn't want to apply no heat to this. And get the seal off here. I can apply some heat, get that nut loose. Alright, got that little guy off of there. Looks like it's symmetrical, so I don't think it matters which way it goes back on. So I'll set that to the side there. Clamp this in the vise and heat that nut up and try to get that loose. Aha! Alright, I'll let that cool off a minute. Alright, let's take this thing apart now. Get a nut and looks like a lock washer. Looks like this is keyed, so you can only put it on one way, which makes sense. So I can get this part. So you can thread this nut down on there so I don't mess up the threads. Apply a little more heat. There we go. Yeah, you can only put that on one way, so you can't do it wrong. Looks like there's a washer on the bottom. Okay, I'm gonna go clean this up on the wire wheel. All right, let me see if I can get this gear out of the center here. Looks like it should just fall out. Yep, that just falls out of there. So that's what that looks like. Yeah, you can see how it's got these ramps on it. This probably plunges in and out, and that's what causes the pumping action. There's some holes in it. So the oil comes in this line, and inside here there's a hole right on the inside of that feeds it. And then the pressure side, there's another hole down inside there that leads to the pressure side. This is a very simple pump. That leads to the bleed screw. This one just goes straight through. I don't see any damage or wear inside this, so this pump's probably going to work. Well, I didn't have the right spring, so I made a spring. Actually, I made a few springs. Took me a few tries to get that right. But now I got a spring, I'm going to put this thing all back together and see if this oil pump will work. Well, I did get it cleaned up. It isn't any prettier, but it is cleaner. Alright, now I want to see if it pumps. I'm going to clamp this in my little bench vise here, and I'm going to get a drill on this end and feed oil from that end and see if it'll pump. Yeah, it's coming out this end. I think I need to reverse it. There it's pumping. Aha, cool. Let me get the check valve off the intake manifold and a piece of hose, and we'll see if it'll blow off the check valve. Alright, I got the hose connected to the pop-off valve or the check valve right here. I'm going to look for oil spurting out of that there. You can see it is pumping. It's just doing it real slow because it's like at idle right now. I don't have 3 hands. Otherwise I'd pull this open and it would go a lot quicker. I'm going to say the oil pump works. I'm going to go ahead and reassemble the top end now. what it's worth, here it is all back together. I'll get this thing put back on the frame and see if we have spark. That's going to be the next thing. So if we got spark, we should have a running engine. Alright, got the motor back in there. I gotta hook everything back up, and I gotta clean the carburetor out. I gotta see if it's got spark. I don't know if it has spark or not, but let me get everything attached to the engine that needs to be attached to make it run, and we'll go from there. Now this does not have the correct exhaust flanges and whatnot, plus it's been welded together. I just kind of got it sitting on the exhaust header manifold thing, so it's probably going to be loud AF, and let's just see. I think I lost spark. Yeah, I lost spark. Okay, well I gotta figure out why there's no spark. This might have something to do with it. Yeah, the throttle stuck a little bit there and it wouldn't shut off. Hey, it ran. Oh boy. Oh, I love this shit. I need to get an exhaust. This exhaust is not going to work. This is where they welded that together. But the engine ran. That's a good sign. Alright. Oh, I had the kill switch wire unplugged. That's why it wouldn't shut off. It's smoky in here now. I'm going to have to turn the exhaust hood on. Yeah, it ran. It's always kind of nerve-wracking, you know, when you tear that far into an engine and put it back together if it's going to run or not. And then, you know, all the wiring. Let me show you. So you got this connection panel up here, and there's wires cut and all kinds of stuff going on here. So you never know what's going to happen once you fire these things up. So I'm going to get this smoke out of here, and I'll try to figure out something with this exhaust. Maybe we can run it a little longer. So there's that so far. Alright, I had to put a completely different exhaust system on this. So this is what I got now. Oh yeah, she's gonna be a ripper. Well, that's all I got for you this time. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, consider subscribing, and don't be afraid to fix it. Thanks for watching.